A very good afternoon, students. In this particular session, I am going to discuss the objective questions of reflex action and of structure and functioning of human eye. In previous class, we completed up to 65 questions. Next, let us start the 66th question. If the corpus callosum is removed in the mammalian brain, then what will be the affected? Corpus callosum is the white myelinated nerve bundle that connect the right and left cerebral hemispheres. And function of corpus callosum, it bring the coordination between the right and left cerebral hemispheres. So when the corpus callosum is removed, the coordination among two cerebral hemispheres will lose. So the answer should be first option. Next, question number 67. Reflex action is under. What is reflex action? The automatic, unconscious, involuntary, sudden, a mechanical response to the external stimuli is called as reflex action. This reflex action is controlled by the central nervous system. Reflex action controlled by the central nervous system. There are two types of reflex actions, spinal reflexes and cerebral reflexes. The cerebral reflexes are controlled by the cerebrum and brain, especially brain. And the spinal reflexes are controlled by the spinal cord. Here, spinal cord also take part in the reflex actions, but spinal cord is included in the central nervous system. So answer should be first option. The reflex actions are under control of central nervous system. There are two type of reflex actions. One is cerebral reflex actions controlled by the brain, and the spinal reflexes controlled by the spinal cord. So 67 answer is first option. Next question. The given below are different components of reflex arc. The given below are the different components of the reflex arc. First, A, efferent organ, B, interneuron, C, motor neuron, D, sensory neuron, E, sensory receptor. These all parts of the reflex arc we have to arrange in the sequence. In the diagram, you can see here sensory receptor, interneuron, motor neuron, and effector. Once again, I repeat, a reflex arc consists sensory receptor, sensory neuron, interneuron, and motor neuron, and effector organ. Here, the stimulus is given to the stimulus, the perception of stimulus is occur in the receptor, then the action potential is generated and which is given to the sensory neuron, then sensory neuron to the interneuron, then interneuron to the, in interneuron the analysis of the impulse will takes place. Again the motor impulse passes through the motor neuron to the effector organ. So here the above all we have to arrange in the sequence. The first sensory receptor E, then from the sensory receptor the impulsor passes to the sensory neuron D, next from sensory neuron to the interneuron B, next from interneuron to the motor neuron C, next from motor neuron to the effector organ, that is muscle. So answer is E, D, B, C, A, second option. Let us move on to the next question. The reflex pathway comprises at least, actually the parts of reflex arc or reflex pathway one receptor, sensory neuron, interneuron, motor neuron, and effector. But at least the reflex pathway should contain one afferent neuron, nothing but sensory neuron, and one efferent neuron, nothing but motor neuron. So at least one afferent neuron and one efferent neuron, one sensory neuron and one motor neuron should be present. Therefore, answer is second option. One afferent or sensory neuron, one motor neuron should be present. Here, second and fourth options are both are same, that you have to correct. Next, question number 69. A stimulus is received by the receptor, which is initiate an impulse in the afferent neuron. That means in the sensory neuron. The afferent neuron transmit the signal via the impulse which are generated in the afferent neuron. They are passed to the interneuron through dorsal root of the spinal cord. Dorsal root of the spinal cord. Here, what is the dorsal root? We'll see now. See. In the spinal cord, this part is the dorsal root. This upper portion is the dorsal root, and this lower portion is the ventral root. The dorsal root consists the sensory neuron, and the ventral root consists the motor neuron. This is very, very important point. The dorsal root of spinal cord consists sensory neuron, and the ventral root of the spinal cord consists a motor neuron. Here, the question they are asking: a stimulus is received by the receptor which initiate an impulse in the afferent neuron. The impulse which are generated in the afferent neuron transmit the signal via dorsal nerve root to the CNS. The spinal cord is the part of CNS. Then the afferent neuron is nothing but motor neuron. From the motor neuron, then carry the signal from the effector, carry the signal from the CNS to the effector. So here via dorsal and dorsal nerve root into the central nervous system, then the efferent neuron then carry the signal from the CNS to the effector. So first dorsal, then CNS, next effector. Therefore, answer is fourth option. Next question. Which one is not a reflex action? Which one is not a reflex action among the following? Closing the eyelids suddenly, as closing of the eyelid is a reflex action, and a release of saliva, also reflex action. Obeying the order is not the reflex action. Papillary constriction, this papillary constriction also a reflex action. These all are unconditional reflex actions. So answer should be third option. Obeying the order is the not a reflex action, it is a voluntary action. Next, question number 71. The aqueous humor is present. Before these questions, I would like to show a diagram of the human eye. See, all of you observe this. This portion, this cavity, this chamber is the aqueous chamber, and this is the vitreous chamber. The interior portion of the eyeball is separated into two chambers by the lens and the suspensory ligaments. This is the lens which is lies in its location, its place by the suspensory ligaments. And this pink color portion, red color portion is the ciliary muscle, and this is the iris, and the opening present at the center of the iris is the pupil. And there are three layers in the wall of eyeball. Outer layer is the sclera, middle layer is the choroid, and inner layer is the retina. Now, We'll see the questions regarding structure of the eye. Aqueous humor is present in front of retina? No. In the front of retina, vitreous chamber is present, that is filled with vitreous humor. In the front of cornea, so in the front of cornea, the conjunctiva will be there. Behind the conjunctiva, cornea will be there. In the front of lens. Yes, fourth option is correct. The aqueous humor is present in the front of lens. Here you can see in this diagram, you can see this is the lens, and this area, white color area is aqueous humor. Therefore, answer is fourth option. Next question. Protein found in the eye lens is? The eye lens is made up of crystalline protein. Eye lens is made up of crystalline protein. Hence, the answer is 72. Question number 72. The protein found in the eye lens is crystalline protein. Answer is first option. Next, here opsin and rhodopsin. Opsin is the protein of the rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is the pigment, photosensitive pigment present in the rod cells. Rods, you know, the rods and cone cells present in the retina of the eye. Next question number 73. Which part of the eye control the amount of light entering in it? Which part of the eye controlling the amount of light entering into it? Your cornea is the anterior part of this sclera. Ciliary body, it regulates the focal length of the lens. Iris is the colored visible portion of the eye. Iris is the colored visible portion of the eye. At the center portion of iris, there is a small opening is called as pupil. Through pupil, the light enters into the eye. So your iris is made up of two type of muscles, the dilator muscles and sphincter muscles. Iris is made up of two type of muscles, dilator muscles and sphincter muscles. During in the low intensity of light or in the dim light, dilator muscles of the iris contract. Dilator muscles of the iris contract. Thus, the diameter of pupil will increases, then the more amount of light can be enter into the eye. Next, in the high intensity of light, the sphincter muscles contract. Sphincter muscles of the iris contract, then the diameter of pupil decreases, then the low amount of light can enter into the eye. So here, which part of the eye control the amount of light entering into the iris? Answer is third option. The muscles which are present in the iris are, they changes the diameter of pupil according to intensity of the light. Next, question number 74. In the blind spot where the optic nerve leave the eye. The blind spot where the optic nerve leave the eye. What is blind spot? The area at the posterior region of the retina where the optic nerve exit is called as blind spot. In the blind spot, there are no photoreceptor cells. The blind spot of the retina, there are no photoreceptor cells. That means the rods and cones are absent. In the blind spot, there will be no image is formed because of absence of rods and cone cells. Therefore, answer is first option. Next, question number 75. The friction between the eyelids and the cornea is avoided by the secretion of. The friction between the eyelids and the cornea is avoided by the secretion of what? Lacrimal glands. These lacrimal glands secrete tears. conjunctiva eyelid. Conjunctiva is a protective layer that cover the cornea. Hardenian glands are the skin glands present in amphibians. Meibomian glands, as these meibomian glands are located in the hair follicles of the eyelids. Meibomian glands are present in the hair follicles of eyelashes. So these meibomian glands secrete lubricant substance. Meibomian glands secrete the lubricant. That lubricant prevent the friction between the eyelids and cornea. Therefore, answer is fourth option. Meibomian glands secrete lubricant. That lubricant prevent the friction between the eyelids and the cornea. Where they are located? The hair follicles of eyelashes in the eyelids. Let us move on to the next question. Question number 76. The function of ciliary muscle is. This is very, very important question. Ciliary muscles. Middle layer of the wall of eyeball is choroid. This choroid at the anterior portion, it becomes thick to form the ciliary body. That ciliary body is made up of ciliary muscles. Now, what is the role of ciliary muscles? The ciliary muscles, they changes focal length of lens. Ciliary muscle changes convexity of the lens or focal length of the lens or the shape of the lens. How they will work? When we see the distant objects which are far away from our eyes, when we see the distant objects, the ciliary muscles undergo relaxation. Then the tension increases in the suspensory ligaments, because the suspensory ligaments, one side they are attached to the ciliary body and one side they are attached to the lens. So when we see the distant objects, the ciliary muscle undergo relaxation. At the same time, the tension increases in the suspensory ligaments. Then the focal length will increases, or convexity of the lens decreases. Focal length increases, convexity decreases. Then the clear image will be formed on the retina. At the same time, when we see the near objects, when we see the near object, the ciliary muscle undergo contraction. Ciliary muscles undergo contraction simultaneously. The suspensory ligaments relaxes. Then the focal length decreases. The convexity of the lens increases. Then the clear image of near objects will form on the retina. So this is function of ciliary muscle. So even overally, the ciliary muscles helps in the change in focal length of the lens or the shape of the lens. Therefore, answer is fourth option. The ciliary muscle changes the focal length of the lens or shape of the lens. Next. Question number 77. Which of the following prevents internal reflect of the light within the eye? The light enter into the eye through cornea, pupil, then fall onto the lens, then it refract onto the retina. After falling light onto the retina, the internal reflection is prevented by the pigmented layer. That pigmented layer is choroid. So internal reflection of light is prevented by the pigmented layer. The pigmented layer of the eyeball is called as choroid. So question number 77, answer is second option. Next, question number 78. The visual purple is visual purple is common name for. The rhodopsin is also called as visual purple. Iodopsin is also called as visual violet. Rhodopsin is also called as visual purple, and iodopsin is also called as visual violet. Here options: A, rhodopsin. Yes, visual purple is commonly called as rhodopsin, and the rhodopsin is the pigment of rod cell. Iodopsin is the pigment of cone cell. So here they are asking only about visual purple. So A and B is the option. So answer is first option. Rhodopsin is the pigment of rod cells. Let us move on to the next question. Question number 79. Which of the following statements are incorrect? The space between cornea and a lens is filled with watery fluid. The space between cornea and a lens is called as aqueous chamber. The space between cornea and a lens is called as aqueous chamber. The aqueous chamber is filled with aqueous humor. The aqueous humor is the watery fluid that is secreted from the epithelium of ciliary body. As first statement is correct. Next, the second statement. Rhodopsin is the red protein, hence called a visual red. No, the rhodopsin is not called as visual red. Rhodopsin is called as visual purple. Rhodopsin is called as visual purple. Therefore, second statement is false, incorrect statement. Next, the third statement. The anterior transparent portion of sclera is called as cornea. As the sclera anteriorly it continues as a cornea, and cornea is the transparent and avascular structure. Third statement is correct. When all cones are stimulated equally, a sensation of no light is produced. There are three types of cones in the retina: erythrolapse, cyanolapse, and three types of cones. Erythrolapse, the erythrolapse detect red color. Cyanolapse, they perceive the blue color. And chlorolapse, which detect the green color. So the three type, red, green, and blue color, these three colors are detected by three different type of cone cells. But when all these three type of cones equally sensitized, that time the white color perception takes place. Three types of cone cells are present: erythrolapse, sensitive to the red color; cyanolapse, sensitive to the blue color; chlorolapse, sensitive to the green color. Other different colors, various variation of color is detected by these different combination of sensation of these three type of cones. When all three types of cones are equally stimulated, then white color perception takes place. So here they are saying no light is produced, no sensation of light color is produced, they are saying. So fourth statement is wrong. Second and fourth statement both are wrong. Therefore, answer is first option. Answer is first option. Not first option. In first option only B is given. Second option, B and D. Answer is B and D. B statement and fourth statement, D statement is wrong. Next, question number 80. In glaucoma, glaucoma is a disorder. Here, at the junction between sclera and cornea, a small canal is present. That canal is called as canal of Schlemm. Canal of Schlemm. Through this canal of Schlemm, the aqueous humor is continuously drained out. Aqueous humor continuously drains out into the blood, because aqueous humor is continuously produced from the epithelium of the ciliary body. So this excessive watery fluid or aqueous humor is continuously drains out through the canal of the sclem. But when the canal of sclem get blocked, the aqueous humor increases in the aqueous chamber. So that increases pressure. That increases pressure in the nerves of the retina. That leads to the glaucoma. So first option, eyeball elongates, no. Second option, eyeball shorten, no. The fluid pressure increases in the eye due to blockage of the canal of the sclem. Blockage of canal of sclem, the fluid pressure, aqueous humor pressure increases in the eye. So answer should be third option. Next. Question number 81. The no image formation occurs on blind spot of retina because there are no cone and rod cells. Cones and rod cells are absent in the blind spot. Because of that, no image formation takes place. First option, it is not present on the optical axis of the eye. Wrong. Here, cones and rods are absent. Yes, second option is correct. Because of absence of cones and rods, there is no image formation takes place on the blind spot. Third option, on this spot, only cones are present. Cones also absent. The nerve fiber of this region do not contribute in the formation of optic chiasma. This optic chiasma is present above the hypothalamus. It formed due to crossing of the two optic nerves. Left and right optic nerves, they cross above the hypothalamus, that is optic chiasma. Your answer is second option, no image formation occurs on blind spot because of absence of cones and rod cells. Next, question number 82. In eyes, the image which is formed on the retina, first when the light enter into the eye, that refract onto the retina, then the retina form the image. That image will be inverted image. First inverted image will be formed, but when the signals are reached to the cerebral cortex, where analysis of the impulse takes place, then that inverted image will be corrected. So first formed image on the retina would be inverted, and it is real image. Inverted and real image. Therefore, answer is third option. Next, question number 83. The aqueous humor and vitreous humor are separated by lens. The aqueous chamber and vitreous chamber are separated by the lens. Therefore, answer is third option. Next, question number 84. The lens and the cornea of eye do not have blood supply. So here the nutrients are supplied by, yes, lens and cornea, they are avascular, meaning there is no blood supply to that. Then how they will get the nutrients? For survival of the cells, the nutrients and gases are compulsory. So when the primary function of blood is to transport the nutrients and gases. So when blood supply is absent, then how they will survive? How they will obtain the nutrients? How they will get the nutrients? This lens and the cornea, they obtain the nutrients from the aqueous humor. This cornea is the front side and front of the aqueous humor, and behind the aqueous humor, the lens will be present. So cornea and the lens, they obtain the nutrients from the aqueous humor. Answer is fourth option. Next, question number 85. Which of the following is correct for the lens focusing while seeing the distant object? I have explained that when we are seeing the distant objects, the ciliary muscles undergo relaxation. Ciliary muscles undergo relaxation. At the same time, the tension will increase in the suspensory ligaments. Tension, the suspensory ligaments will stretch. Tension will increase. Then convexity of the lens will decrease, focal length of the lens will increase. These words you have to concentrate. Once again, I repeat, when we see the distant objects, ciliary muscles undergo relaxation. At the same time, the tension increases in the suspensory ligaments. Focal length of the lens increases and convexity of the lens decreases. But in these options, first option, the tight suspensory ligament, yes, rounded lens is given. When suspensory ligaments are tight, that means when suspensory tension increases in the suspensory ligaments, the length becomes flattened, not rounded. So first statement is wrong. Contracted ciliary muscles. So when we see the near object, the ciliary muscle undergo contraction, right? But here they are asking about when we see the distant object. Relaxed ciliary muscles and relaxed suspensory ligaments. Here the one correction is there. In third option, this instead of relaxed suspensory ligaments, you have to write tensed suspensory ligaments or stretched suspensory ligaments. Then answer should be third option. In the fourth option, what they are given? Contracted ciliary muscles. When the ciliary muscle will contract when we see the near objects, not the far objects or distant objects. So there is a mistake in this question. So third option, the second statement you have to change the relaxed suspensory ligaments as stretched suspensory ligaments. Therefore, answer is third option. Next question number 86. Fovea in the eye is central pit. The yellowish pigmented spot is called fovea. Macula lutea is the circular area at the posterior pole, near to the posterior pole of the retina, near to the blind spot. There is a yellow color circular area is present. Yellowish pigmented area is present. That yellow color pigmented area is called as macula lutea. In that macula lutea, a small depression is present. The depression is called as fovea. So first, what is macula lutea? At the posterior pole of center part of retina, above the blind spot, there is yellow color pigmented circular area is called as macula lutea. A small depression present in the macula lutea is called as fovea. So in this question is they are asking, fovea is the eye is a central pit. Pit means a depression in the yellowish pigmented spot. The yellowish pigmented spot is called as macula lutea. Therefore, answer is fourth option. Now, what is function of this fovea centralis? At this region, in the fovea centralis, the cone cells are crowded. The huge number of cone cells, only cone cells are present. So this fovea centralis is responsible for the central vision or the sharp vision, high resolution of the image. Next question number 87. The innermost layer of the human eye is, there are three layers: outer sclera, middle choroid, and inner retina. So innermost layer of the human eye is retina. Let us move on to the next question. The direction of light striking the retina will be. How the light enters into the inner layer of the eyeball, we'll see first. The atmospheric light first fall on the cornea. Through the pupil, it enters into the aqueous humor, then lens. After lens, passes through the vitreous humor, then fall onto the retina. Here, retina is made up of three layers. Retina is made up of three layers. One, photoreceptor layer, bipolar cell layer, and ganglionic cell layer. In the image, you can see that photoreceptor cell layer, bipolar cell layer, This is photoreceptor cell layer, bipolar cell layer, and ganglionic cell layer. Three layers are present. Then how the light passes through these three layers? When light fall on the retina, first that light is absorbed by the axons of the ganglionic cells. Ganglionic cells. Then this ganglion, from the ganglionic cells, the light enter into the bipolar cells. From the bipolar cells, then it enters into the photoreceptor cell. So the pathway of the light, first onto the optic nerves, ganglionic cells, then to the bipolar cells, then onto the photoreceptor cells. When the light fall on the photoreceptor cell, the photosensitive pigment rhodopsin is bleaching into opsin and retinol. Then the image will be formed on the retina. So we'll see in the question, the direction of the light striking the retina will be first sensory nerves, next ganglionic cell, next bipolar neurons, next photoreceptor, photosensory cells or photoreceptor cells. Here you know that optic nerve, these are the axons of the optic nerve. They are formed by the axons of ganglionic cells. The optic nerve is formed by the axons of ganglionic cells. So first light fall on the sensory nerves. Which is sensory nerve? Here axons of the ganglionic cell we can call as sensory nerve. Then to the ganglionic cells, then to the bipolar neurons, then photoreceptor cell. Therefore answer is third option. Next, question number 89. The color perception in man is due to, there are two types of cells in the retina, rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells are responsible for, rod cells contain a pigment rhodopsin that is responsible for the for perception during perception of the images, perception of objects in the dim light. So for night vision, rhodopsin is essential, and for day vision, iodopsin is responsible. Iodopsin is present in the cone cells. So color differentiation is due to iodopsin, that iodopsin is present in the cone cells. First option, iodopsin pigment in rod. That is wrong because iodopsin is not present in rods. Iodopsin is present in the cone cells. Rhodopsin pigment in the rod cell. This rhodopsin is responsible for the night vision. Night vision, that is photopic vision. There in the during night time we cannot see the color. We cannot distinguish the different colors. So all objects will visible in a gray color. Next, iodopsin pigment in cone cells. Third option is correct. Iodopsin is responsible for the color distinguishing, color perception. Next, rods are sensitive to the dim light. The rhodopsin is sensitive to the dim light. Next question, question number 91. The region of human eye where the optic nerve passes out of the retina is called as, already we have discussed, that is blind spot. Where the optic nerve exit from the eyeball is called as blind spot. There will be no image formation takes place in this area. Next, the lens contraction caused by change in the ciliary body. The contraction and relaxation of lens or focal length of the lens is changed by the ciliary muscles. Therefore answer is third option. Next, question number 93. The aqueous fluid is produced by, the aqueous humor is produced by the epithelium of the ciliary body. Aqueous humor is produced by the epithelium of ciliary body, whereas the vitreous humor is produced by the retina during embryonic development. Aqueous humor is produced by the epithelium of ciliary body, whereas and vitreous humor is produced by the retina. Here, what is Wharton's jelly? It's a specialized mucoid connective tissue present in the umbilical cord. Specialized mucoid connective tissue, mucus connective tissue present in umbilical cord is called as Wharton's jelly. Next, question number 94. Which of the following passes from the lens to the blind spot? Options. Eustachian canal. This Eustachian canal is not connected with the eye. Eustachian canal that connect the middle ear cavity with pharynx. Next, canal of Schlemm is the canal that is present at the junction of sclera and cornea. Hyaloid canal. This is the answer. Lens and blind spot are connected by the hyaloid canal. Because this hyaloid canal, what is hyaloid canal? During embryonic development, when lens is developing, that time the hyaloid artery supply the blood to the lens. When during embryonic development, hyaloid artery supply the blood to the lens, but when the lens is completely developed, that time the supply of blood will stop. Then this hyaloid artery become hyaloid canal that is filled with lymph. In the diagram you can see here, this is the lens. The lens is connected with the blind spot by a narrow canal. That narrow canal is called as hyaloid canal, is filled with the lymph. But during embryonic development, that is hyaloid artery, we supply blood to the lens. Therefore, answer is first one. Fourth option, semicircular canals are the part of internal ear. Let us move on to the next question. Question number 95. Macula lutea is located in the middle of retina, below the lens, below the pupil, at the posterior lateral to the blind spot. The posterior pole of retina, lateral side of the blind spot. What is macula lutea? The yellow color pigmented circular area located at the posterior pole of retina, lateral to the blind spot, is called as macula lutea. A pit or a small depression present in the macula lutea is called as fovea centralis. That is responsible for the high resolution of the image. Here answer is fourth option. Macula lutea is located at posterior pole lateral to the blind spot. Next question number 96. The space between cornea and lens. The space between cornea and lens is aqueous chamber that is filled with aqueous humor. And at the same time, the space between lens and retina is vitreous chamber. Your answer is first option. Here you can see in this diagram, this circular area, yellow area is called as macula lutea, and the central small depression is called as fovea. That is located lateral to the blind spot. This is a blind spot. This is macula lutea. Next, the color is perceived by. The perception of color is take place by the cone cells, because cone cells consist iodopsin. So answer is second option. The cones in the retina. The cones are responsible for the photopic vision or day vision, whereas rods are responsible for the twilight vision or scotopic vision or night vision. Next, area of most acute vision in the eye where the sharp and bright image is formed, that is yellow spot or macula lutea. Just now we have discussed that. Next, vitamin A combined with the protein in the retina to produce rhodopsin. Rhodopsin consists two parts, A protein opsin and a aldehyde is called retinol. A protein opsin and a aldehyde is called retinol. This retinol is the derivative of vitamin A. So vitamin A is combined with the opsin, a protein opsin, to form rhodopsin. Answer question number 99. Answer is third option. Next, the last question. When all three type of cones are stimulated equally, a sensation of white color light will be produced. Three different type of cones, they perceive the three different colors, and various stimulation of the combination of these cells produce the different colors, but when all are equally stimulated, white color perception takes place. Now I am going to stop here. The remaining questions we will discuss in the next class. Now you can ask the doubts.